The story starts with the Doctor taking Clara's hand. The two run, with Clara shouting at him. "Who was that? What did you mean he was you?" "I'll explain later. Come on." The two of them continue to run, heading backwards towards the massive bright light. Almost there. As the Doctor and Clara run through the portal, the light expands before finally exploding. The two land back on Trenzalore, with Vastra, Strax and Jenny looking at them, shocked. "You made it back," said Vastra. "Just. That was an incredibly stupid thing for me to do." Does that mean you're safe?" asked Clara. "Clara, I always was. I can defeat the Great Intelligence anywhere, any time. I have on several occasions. Him jumping into my time stream was to goad you into jumping as well." "What do you mean?" The Doctor explains that the Great Intelligence only went into the time stream so he could travel to the Doctor's past. Clara counters, saying she managed to defeat him. The Doctor shakes his head, telling her that the only thing she did was allow him access to his past. Clara blames the Doctor, who in return blames her for making him jump into the stream. He tells her she wasn't born to save him. She was in fact born to kill him. The Doctor looks out of the high TARDIS window down at the graves below. Clara starts questioning what he means. Wait, I was born to kill you? At the very least, trap me. You're an enigma I could never resist. He knew that. And I fell for it. After a few moments, he wanders back towards Vastra, Strax and Jenny. "Time to get you three home. Come on, back to the TARDIS." As the Doctor dashes out, Clara looks at the three, who shrug. Vastra tells her not to worry. Only time will explain. As the four follow the Doctor, we see the ghost of River. She stands silently smiling. As she does, a dark figure appears behind her, and closing her eyes, River fades away. Back on Earth, we join Kate Stewart and Osgood, who are investigating a strange occurrence at Blackpool. The two head up towards the tower, followed by several troops, and they join Malcolm. "What's going on?" "Well, we aren't sure exactly," Malcolm said, putting his hands on his hips. "From what we can tell, a massive surge of energy spiked in the system, and now, well, who knows?" "Top of the tower?" asked Kate. "Yes, ma'am." "Come on, Osgood. Stay here, Malcolm." The two head up the tower, followed by three troops. The troops secure the tower while Kate and Osgood head to the topmost level. As they get closer, Kate slowly moves forward, opening the door to the very top. As she does, she gasps upon seeing who is there. "It's about time! I was wondering when Unit would arrive." Kate is taken aback as she comes face to face with an aged 6th Doctor. Standing beside him, Perry smiles and gives a small wave. "Close the jaw, Lethbridge. Yes, I've aged. Temporal disturbance. Now, down to business." "You're all in grave trouble," Perry said. "I'm not just your usual trouble. This is dangerous trouble." As Kate goes to ask a question, the Doctor moves to the side and reveals a large tear in the air. Kate gasps. Meanwhile, back in the TARDIS, the 11th Doctor is sitting, watching the rotor spiral round. Clara, Jenny and Strax have wandered off. Vastra is leaning on the console. "What did you mean?" "She was born to kill you." "Just an old prophecy I heard many years ago." "How many years ago?" "Is this really important?" "Yes. It very well could be." "Very well." The Doctor stands and stretches. He places his hands on the console using the telepathic circuits. "Watch." Vastra turns to look at the screen. The screen enlarges and we see Gallifrey. "It is my home, Vastra. Many years ago. During the last great time war." As the Doctor talks, we float across the world, seeing everything. The cities falling, the people burning, the world aflame. It was a massacre. I had no choice but to do what I did. We see the War Doctor enter the vaults and grab something. As he wanders out, he passes 2 guards. They're unconscious. I took the moment and used it to seal Gallifrey away. The whole world burned, as did the Dalek forces that were left. Before I did, I was warned. The voiceover ends as we join the War Doctor, standing on the tallest building on Gallifrey. The city around him burns, and the Doctor faces upwards, breathing slowly. He looks back down towards the device. It has a price, you know. The Doctor turns and we see Romana too, coordinator of the CIA. I know. You have to do this, don't you? I have no choice. If there was another way... I know. And I understand. Believe me, I do. And if Leela was here, she'd probably say the same thing. Brave savage. Fighting on the front for a world she once cursed. Now she fights as if it were her world too. We all fight, Doctor, in our own small way. But this is something far larger than fighting a war. This is fighting instinct and nature. Your instinct and nature. What I do without choice. I know. And I stand by you, as I always have, in whatever decision you decide. You do know that when this is over, we both die. Maybe. Maybe? The moment is a unique weapon. It not only decides your fate, it also makes sure it happens. Whatever the moment sees for your future, it will place you on that path. I wish only for death, Romana. I am so very tired. We are all tired, Doctor. But destiny forces us to continue. The Doctor ponders on this. He tells Romana he is sorry for everything, and she in return does the same. The 2 hug and stay, watching for a while. Finally, the Doctor kneels towards the moment. As he does, it whispers to him. He stands back up, a tear in his eye. For Gallifrey! Holding his friend's hand, he seals Gallifrey's fate and burns the world to ash. The screen fades to black and the 11th Doctor stands up, slightly dizzy. Vastra looks at him, saddened. The moment told me death shall come at the hands of the one who can never die. At first I thought it was Captain Jack Harkness, that's why I left him behind on Satellite 5. But soon I came to realise it was actually Clara, the girl who appeared all over your timeline. The Great Intelligence was clever, very clever. This has been planned to the second. And now you die. Back on Earth, the 6th Doctor is attempting to use equipment to scan the Ter. Malcolm is helping set up the equipment while Perry stands with Kate. It is really rather complex, you see. The diameter of the Ter itself is dimensionally transcendental. Yes, I would have suspected nothing less. Even so, this is really curious. Indeed it is. Right, Perry. Yes, Doctor? Watch this. He flicks a switch, and the Ter turns from a bright blue to a magnificent pink colour. Kate asks what this does, and the Doctor tells her the pink light will help them see how much time energy is leaking out. There is a slight pink vapour cloud. The Doctor triumphantly compliments himself, telling Kate he will find the source of the Ter. As he leaves, Kate gets a phone call. Another Ter? Where? Right, I'll send my best people. As the 6th Doctor and Perry enter the TARDIS, Osgood calls after them. What are you doing? I'm going to trace the Ter. How? Using this. The Doctor pulls a sonic lance out of his pocket. He smiles before tapping Perry on the shoulder, and the 2 enter the TARDIS. Kate calls after Osgood, telling her to go with them. As she enters the TARDIS, it leaves. Kate sighs and makes a phone call. This is Kate Stewart. Get me Mike. The 4th Doctor is paddling down the river at the Cambridge campus. He's talking to Romana. These are clips from Sharda. As he does, he loses his pole. When he loses it, a cone floats near him. Clip from the 5 Doctors. However, it bounces away, leaving a Ter in time. There is a flash, and the Doctor crashes the boat. Upon crashing it, the Doctor has aged, as has Romana. What on earth was that? I haven't the faintest idea. Curious, isn't it? Romana notices for the first time the Doctor's age. Doctor! The Doctor checks a mirror and is shocked. He tells Romana she looks the same. The two are confused. As they stand and dust themselves down, Romana sees the tear. Well, that can't be good. No, it can't. That's a physical tear in space and time. I wonder how much of an impact it's made. Quite a big one. The fourth Doctor and Romana turn round to see the sixth Doctor, Perry, and Osgood. The two Doctors have a small argument about time before Romana shuts them up. The three Time Lords start discussing the tear, confused by its appearance. The sixth Doctor explains that the tear has also appeared on Earth in 2013. Somehow, they've been aged due to their proximity to it. How many other Doctors has this affected? Just as I believe. For now. But I have a feeling this is going to get worse. Quickly. Back on Earth, 2013, a unit jeep drives rapidly through the jungle. As it skids to a halt, a man steps out, removing his sunglasses. This is Mike Yates, retired unit soldier. Exiting the other side, we see Brigadier Benton. As the two get out, they're greeted by a couple of unit soldiers dressed in civvy outfits. They shake hands with the two and move them toward a large clearing in the jungle. As they enter, they meet Joe Grant, retired unit specialist. Miss Grant, a pleasure to see you again. John, back in the uniform, I see. With the new era of unit being science and reason, I felt a need to come back. And the pup? Looked after by an old friend. And Mike Yates. You haven't returned to unit then? I'm far too old to be a part of unit after all these years. But never too old to run around in the jungle? Joe motions towards a small cave in the heart of the jungle. Benton and Yates follow Joe inside, where they are greeted by a local who found the tear. As the three get closer, they feel an odd sensation and back away. Curious. A tear in the air. This may be the weirdest thing we've ever seen, said Benton. We have battled against worse, countered Mike. Maybe, but this just feels wrong. There is a very good reason for that, my dear. It is wrong. Joe, Mike, and Benton turn round to come face to face with the third Doctor, as played by Sean Pertwee. Doctor! Hello, Joe. The 11th Doctor is scooting around the TARDIS console, still figuring out what to do next. Vastra stands across from him, waiting. What? Well, what? Are you going to confront the whole I'm going to die, or not? What is there to confront? I'm going to die by Clara's hands. It's already begun with me leaping into my time stream. If you knew she was dangerous, why save her? Because that's who I am. I save people, no matter the consequences. Now I promise to get you home and I shall. We don't need to go home, you need us. Do I really? Before Vastra can answer, there is a whirring on the console. Something isn't right. As the Doctor sets the controls to investigate, Jenny, Strax and Clara re-enter. Strax has changed into a more classic-looking Sontaran outfit. Vastra explains they're staying to help the Doctor. He calls to them and tells them to look at the screen. What do you make of that? It's a crack in space, answered Clara. Yes, it is. Why is it always cracks? Why not an evil tea shop? I could deal with an evil tea shop. What? Nothing. Don't worry about it. The Paternoster gang ask about the tear. The Doctor shrugs, not knowing what it is. As they try and get a reading, another beep goes off on the scanner. As the Doctor activates the monitor, a familiar face turns up. Ah! Now this is a problem. You've got to be kidding me. Back on Earth in the Amazon forest, the third Doctor stands a few paces away from the crack. Joe asks him why, and he explains the proximity to the tear ages him. The tear somehow feeds off his time energy. Mike asks the Doctor how he is here. It's rather simple. I sensed something wrong and the TARDIS flew here on its own accord. I'm glad it did. It's good to see you again, Doctor. It's good to see you too, Joe. The two smile at each other. Mike and Benton question the tear's existence. The Doctor explains that something has happened to time, allowing a dangerous phenomenon to occur. He's unsure how, though. He tells the team to move away just in case. As he does, a ghostly figure begins to emerge from the tear. Great balls of fire! Quickly, back! One of the soldiers is too slow and the ghost attacks him. The team watch in horror as the man ages rapidly and dissolves. The ghost turns and heads back towards the team. The Doctor pulls them all backwards towards the TARDIS. Quickly, we must get to safety. As the unit crew race towards the box, the tear starts breaching wider. The Doctor turns and witnesses three more spirits leaving the tear. They can't be. Can they? As the spirits move towards them, the Doctor and co enter the TARDIS. But before they can take off, the spirits touch the outer shell, and the police box becomes white. Back at Cambridge, the doctors are discussing the tear itself. I've never seen anything like this. Me neither. And I have 2 more lifetimes of memories than you. What is it exactly? Perry asked. We know it's leaking time energy and it's bigger on the inside, but other than that, what is it? I think that's as much as we may ever know, Lana said as she crossed her arms. Possibly. When I scanned it back in 2013, I did get slight traces of time leakage, which would explain how the tear is following us. But why come here? Why Cambridge? This is where the time energy pointed to. Obviously, we can predict where the portals will appear next. Fat lot of good that is. We can't follow every lead and hope something will turn up. As they continue to chat, the tear itself seems to grow slightly. The doctors watch in amazement as something starts to come out. Wait a minute. I've seen something like this before, the 6th Doctor said. Yes, me too. Our 3rd incarnation. The Amazon! The 2 doctors grab their companions and hurry into 6's TARDIS, just as 2 more spirits follow the first. As the TARDIS tries to take off, the spirits surround it, holding it in place, and the box turns white. The 11th Doctor is chatting with his 7th self on the screen. 7 found a portal on Earth, and after he and Ace aged, he followed a trace leading back to this space. So, we can predict the portals, the 11th Doctor said. Somewhat, yes, but it doesn't appear to be much good. It still doesn't tell us what the portals are. No. Actually, we might be able to help you with that. What makes you say that? Because the portals only started after I jumped into our own time stream. After you did what? Are you insane? I was saving my companion. We would have all done it. Yes, the 7th Doctor said, looking to the side. I suppose. This was the trap. This is what the Great Intelligence wanted. Great Intelligence. Never mind. How do we stop this? I don't know. Let's see if we can track the next portal. Hopefully we can land, talk this out like reasonable Time Lords. Hopefully no more doctors get caught. The vortex. Hold on, Donna! The 10th Doctor's TARDIS hurtles through the vortex, being chased by several of the spirits. The further they travel, the brighter the ghosts get. Are we being followed by goddamn ghosts? As close as ghosts as you can get. They're actually something far worse. Hold on! The 2 are thrown about the TARDIS as the Doctor tries to evade them. Donna complains about his driving, but soon notices the Doctor has stopped cracking his usual jokes. They are really in danger. As the spirit gets closer to the TARDIS, the outer shielding starts to spark. The Doctor and Donna are launched forward as the ship flies out of the vortex and hurtles towards the Eye of Orion. What happened? Donna shrieked as the TARDIS continued to shake. The TARDIS isn't like those creatures. They're filled with time energy. I'm guessing that's not good. Not in the slightest. We're now speeding towards the Eye of Orion! What's that then? A place of peaceful tranquility, and now a possible battleground. The TARDIS flies towards the planet. As it gets closer, the cloister bell goes off, and the Doctor fears that something is terribly wrong. On the Eye of Orion, the 5th Doctor is standing outside his TARDIS, hands in pocket, glasses on. He's looking at what seems to be another tear in space. However, this one is contained behind some sort of glass-like structure. As he continues to ponder, Nyssa exits the TARDIS. Nyssa. Has the console managed to reveal anything of interest? The tear is a split in time and space, something on a monumental scale. However, the TARDIS cannot determine how large the problem actually is. Well, at least we know what we're dealing with. Sort of. Tegan and Turlough exit the TARDIS. Tegan asks the Doctor if he has sorted the aging thing yet, to which the Doctor replies, no. He's still trying to figure out what the tear actually is. As they all discuss what the tear could mean, something falls from the sky. A blue ball. Doctor, that looks like it can't be. The Doctor and Nyssa run after it, while Turlough contemplates staying at the TARDIS. Tegan tells him off and drags him along. As they leave, 3 spirits exit the tear and head for the TARDIS. Back on Earth in 2013, Kate Stewart is standing with Malcolm, who is still analysing the tear. I can't say for certain, but the tear is getting larger. It doesn't seem to be getting visibly larger. Not on our dimensional plane, no, but temporal plane. The tear is getting worse. I'd suggest moving away from the tower. You do remember what is under this tower, Malcolm? Of course. I'm not stupid. But I'd rather risk the archive than our lives. We can restore the archive, no one can restore us. Kate reluctantly agrees. As they move backwards and put up the barrier, the tear starts to pulse slightly. As it does, splinters start forming at the edge of the tear. Malcolm fears that whatever created the tears may be coming through. Inside the TARDIS, the Third Doctor is watching the screen closely. Joe is standing by him, while Benton and Mike are discussing the ghosts. They aren't ghosts. Not your usual woohoo ones, anyway. Then what are they? Mike said. Time wraiths. Time what? Benton scoffed. Time wraiths. Creatures that feed on time energy. They're usually on the other dimensional plane, feasting on the excess energies of the vortex. But somehow, they've breached our dimension and feasting on living time. So, let me get this straight, Mike said with his arms crossed. They're feasting on people. And on their time. Yes. What was, what could have been, what never was, what should have been. You name it. They're a far more dangerous version of a weeping angel. How much more dangerous? Benton asked. An angel will send you backwards in time, so in effect you will still be alive. But the wraiths, they feast on you and kill you. But I don't understand, Doctor. How can they be here? How did they breach the dimensions? Well, I'd love to find out, Jim. But unfortunately, TARDIS is out of order. The wraiths have stalled her. She's gone into a sort of defense mode to try and save herself. The crew can only watch as the wraiths try and find a way inside. Back on the Eye of Orion, the Fifth Doctor and co managed to get to the crash site, revealing another TARDIS. Well, now this can't be good, the Fifth Doctor said, stuffing his hands into his trouser pockets. It's the TARDIS, Tegan exclaimed. But it can't be. We left it near the Tur. It's another TARDIS, Turlo. Look at the outside. It's different. Yes, this is either a future me or a past me. Or someone who really likes 1960s London. The doors of the TARDIS open and out steps the 10th Doctor. Donna, you okay? I'm fine. But who are they? Who are who? Oh. Right. As the Doctor notices, he grins madly, recognising Five. He shakes his hand and tells him he's happy to see him again. The Fifth Doctor smiles. They introduce their companions, and as everyone greets, the Doctor's chat. So, I'm guessing you found a tear. Yes. It's getting bigger. Like something is trying to make its way through. I've seen it. Spirits, ghosts, feeding on time energy. Time wraiths. What? I'm surprised you don't remember them. By my era, they're all wiped out, destroyed by the Daleks. Well, they seem to be alive and well here and now. The Doctors discuss what to do next. As they do, several wraiths appear over the top of the hill. Well, that can't be good. Doctor, back to the TARDIS. Yes, quite, back to the TARDIS. They're coming from that direction, Tegan said. Then into ours, said Donna. Come on! The gang bundle into Ten's TARDIS just as the wraiths arrive, and as they attempt to take off, the wraiths touch the TARDIS, and the whole box turns white. The two TARDISes materialise on Trenzalore, whirring into existence, pulling themselves into form, as if they're struggling. The doors open, and both Doctors and their companions move outside of the boxes. They look up at the tall TARDIS graveyard and look at each other. Any particular reason why we're on Trenzalore? How did you? Never mind. I can only guess that this is the heart of the problem. This is where our time stream is located. This is where you screwed everything up. Yes. As the two Doctors chat, Ace and the Paternoster gang have a quick talk. Ace loves the idea of a Sontaran butler and tries to nugget him, while Vastra and Jenny watch in amusement. Clara stands near the TARDIS, clearly still annoyed by her true fate. Everything alright with you? Ace asks. Clara turns to find her staring at her. Sure. Everything's fine, why wouldn't it be? Are you sure? Because you seem distracted. Just found out my destiny is different than what I thought it was. Destiny's boring. Not really worth bothering with, to be honest. How do you mean? Clara asked. See, my destiny started as a trap for the Doctor by one of his greatest enemies, and now I'm free to choose my own life. That sounds very familiar, to be honest. My destiny still isn't over, and I have a feeling it maybe will be soon. The Doctor's finished talking and come back to the group. It's time to find the tear. Somewhere else on the other side of the galaxy, the Ninth Doctor looks at Captain Jack Harkness. You've got to be kidding me. It'll be fun! Trust me, Doc. We did need a break, Doctor, Rose chuckled. The Ninth Doctor is standing on the top of a very tall building, a parachute attached to his back. Jack is standing beside him, looking down, rubbing his hands, eager to start the downward fall, while Rose watches from the sidelines. Race you to the bottom? A race? Are you some sort of child? What? You scared? Absolutely not. Done this before. Really? Jack said, not believing a word of what the Doctor was saying. Paragon Olympics, 55-62. I won gold, if I remember correctly. Paragon Olympics. Nice. Alright, maybe will be some competition after all then. Watch it, you. Come on then. Let's see what you've got then. Cap. The two line up on the top of the building. Rose stands by, laughing. Jack turns to her, trying to goad her to join in, but she refused, telling him it reminds her too much of the blimp incident. Jack nods, and the Doctor teases him. The two get ready, and eventually jump. Jack laughs and shouts on the way down, doing tricks and spins, but he looks over, seeing that the Doctor has a very serious face, that he's concentrating. As the two hurtle downwards, Jack tries his best to tease the Doctor to distract him, with funny faces and quick arm and leg and hand movements, shouting all the way down. But the Doctor manages to ignore him, and he hurtles down quicker and quicker. As the two are racing towards the bottom of the building, something glints in the Doctor's eye. He looks over and spots a tear in the sky. The Doctor pulls his chute immediately, and the rush of wind yanks him backwards. He pulls out his sonic screwdriver and starts scanning the tear. Jack, spinning, sidling down with his back towards the ground, notices that the Doctor has stopped and opened his parachute. He does the same. Doctor, what is it? Jack shouts from further below him. Something incredibly dangerous. We need to get back to Rose, now. The two come to a gradual stop on the bottom of the building. Rose meets them, a smile on her face, about to congratulate the winner, but then she notices that the Doctor has a concerned look on his face. What happened? Did Jack win? Not quite. Look up. Rose looks up and notices the massive tear in the sky. Oh my god! What is that? A tear in time and space, rippling through history. How is that possible? Jack said, opening his vortex manipulator and scanning the tear. It shouldn't be. Just as you shouldn't be here. What? Not you. Him. The Doctor points. Rose and Jack turn their heads and come face to face with the 8th Doctor and Liv Chenka. Blimey, Jack said, straightening his shirt. I see leather was always your thing. Down, boy. I am sorry to intrude, believe me. It was never my intention. That's nice. Why are you here then? Because of that tear that you just saw open. Great, so we cross our timeline for every small pocket of disrupted time energy. I don't know, you tell me. You're clearly my future. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. The Doctors continue to bicker for a while before Liv intervenes. Right, yeah, okay, enough. Egos matched. How are we going to solve this? Solve it? I'm not sure we can until we know what caused it. Easy, a massive rupture in time. Find the source, find the cause. That's nice, Doc, Jack said, tapping his Doctor on the shoulder. Real nice. As the Doctors try and figure out what may have caused the tear and where it may have occurred, the tear in the sky starts to get bigger. Doc, should we be doing something about that? Both Doctors look up and exclaim in horror. Above them, hundreds of time wraiths are pouring out of the Ter. As it gets larger, the two doctors look at each other, telling their companions to run, and quickly. Back on Trenzlaw, the 7th Doctor and the 11th Doctor stand near the time stream, inside the large TARDIS grave. An alternate version of future, where we are the leader in a massive war. But who did we die fighting? We now know the answer, and a deadly answer at that. I'm confused, Professor, Ace said, moving forward. A war? Sometime in my future, in an alternate reality, my life changes. Myself and thousands of other people fight against an enemy unlike any other. And we lose. This is the final resting place of that war. So the enemy is whatever is creating those Ters. Undoubtedly, Clara, Vastra said. The question is, who is the enemy? The 7th Doctor grabbed his lapels and smiled. Hopefully, we shall never find out. The time stream itself doesn't seem to be the Ter, but it is the food for the Ters to feed on. Our timelines. That's why I've aged. It's not just my proximity to the Ter, it is also the after effects rippling backwards through my timeline, feasting upon it. So, where is this Ter? Strug said. Above us? That seems to be the most logical answer, Vastra said, humouring Strax. But we haven't seen it yet, ma'am. Unless it's not open. Good work, Jenny! Not opened? You mean the other Ters are forming links in this universe, making the creature stronger once they're strong enough? They'll break through. The Doctors start discussing how they can contain the Ter. They're still unsure how they are formed, even though their previous incarnations know. Something still isn't adding up. As the 8th Doctor, the 9th Doctor, and their companions run back down the winding streets, more and more spirits start to appear. Many more than usual. This Ter seems to be the strongest so far. As the spirits appear, they start dissolving the surrounding buildings. Civilians are running, trying to escape. But it's no use. What are they? Jack says, out of breath. I'm not sure. I'm sure I've seen them somewhere before, but I can't quite remember. Fat lot of good you are, Rose shouted. They're time wraiths. Of course! I nearly had it. But why couldn't I remember? That's a very good question. Can we leave the speculation for later, please? I'd rather not be killed by these wraith things. Fair point. Come on, to the TARDIS. No, the 8th Doctor says. The 9th Doctor turns and looks at himself. No. If we enter the TARDIS, I have a nasty feeling we should be trapped there. I feel something. How can you feel something and I can't? Maybe I'm more sensitive to the effects of time than you are. You can say that again. I did fight Anti-Time and Razalon, you know. And you've also lost your memory more times than any other Doctor. Would you two stop? If you've forgotten, we have a battle on our hands. So, what do we do? How do we fight them? They feed on temporal energy. You mean they feed on the vortex? Rose asked. In a way, they feed on the residual traces the vortex leaves in their dimension. Remembering who they are now? Shut it, you. So, Doctors, what are we gonna do? I say we go back to the TARDIS. We can't. They're doing something to the old girl. I can't say what for sure, but it's a memory from our 3rd incarnation. Yeah, I sense it too. That's why we need to get back to the TARDIS, to use their weapon against them. On Trenzlaw, the 11th Doctor and the 7th Doctor are standing next to the time stream. They watch it as it flows and moves, flickering. It's no longer a stable, contained field. It's pulsing and directing in different avenues. The companions stand to the side. They're watching and waiting. I sense something is wrong with our past. So do I. I feel great pain. Like everybody's trapped. That it seems we're not the only Doctors caught in this web of traps. Apparently not. The Doctors agree that bringing their other selves here will be the safest option, saving them from the wraiths, and they will not have a time vehicle to feast on. They attempt to contact their other selves, but fail. I fear we may already be too late. The two of us can't fix this problem by ourselves. We need everybody here. We must try and find a way of stopping that Ter from opening, but I can't imagine how. The Doctors stare up into the sky, to the Ter which is getting ready to burst. The Doctor and co run towards the Eighth Doctor's TARDIS. As they go to enter it, the Doctor looks back and watches civilians running and hiding, the time wraiths attacking everything that moves. Not another world, he says under his breath. But he pushes himself in the TARDIS and slams the door shut behind him. As the Doctors enter, the companions gasp in awe. "Oh my god, you had a goth phase," Rose teases. "A what phase?" the Eighth Doctor says, confused. "No, I didn't. Ignore her." "So, why are we in here?" Jack asks. "Yeah, you told us this was dangerous, Doctor." "My Doctor. So why are we here?" "Because our downfall is also theirs," the Ninth Doctor says, with a cheery smile on his face. The companions look around, confused. The Eighth Doctor shrugs. "Oh, come on! Isn't it obvious?" "Not really," Jack shrugs. "They feast on temporal energy. They're hooked on the stuff. Too much and eventually... Bang!" Rose shouts. "Bang! But how do we light the fuse?" "You can't be serious." "Deadly serious. But that will fry nearly every single system on the TARDIS. And send those time wraiths packing. Close the portals too, hopefully." "What have you got planned?" Jack said with a slight grin on his face. "We're gonna create a tachyon shield." "Oh, for God's sake," Liv said, putting her head in her hand. "You've got to be kidding me." The Doctors explain that when a wraith touches the TARDIS, it drains the energy it holds. If a tachyon shield is active around the TARDIS, the wraith itself will be drained. The danger is that the TARDIS will also be drained by said tachyon shield, leaving them defenseless if this failed and there was another attack. "But I have faith," the Ninth Doctor says, clapping his hands together and moving towards the centre console. "Well, you'd better hurry. Look." On the screen, hundreds of wraiths are moving towards the TARDIS. "Come on then, let's give them something to hunt for." The Doctor starts the TARDIS in pre-takeoff mode, holding the engines open but keeping it still. As the wraiths get closer, the Ninth Doctor flicks loads of switches, mumbling to himself. As the wraiths start touching the TARDIS, the Doctor cries, "Fantastic!" The whole TARDIS shakes. As the wraiths touch and drain, they are also drained. Positive and negative energies fight and the wraiths start dying. And for my next trick, the Ninth Doctor activates the TARDIS, putting it in flight mode. Grinning the whole time, he flies the TARDIS straight up into the tur. "See you later, alligator," he cries. The TARDIS hits the tur and the tachyon shield makes contact, draining not only this tur, but all other turs through time and space. The shield connects with every other TARDIS that has been affected by the tur and the wraiths. Every white TARDIS turns blue as the tachyon shields form. Every tur is drained. Every wraith is drained. Soon, the Eighth Doctor's TARDIS begins to cycle down. It falls from the tur as the tur seals itself. The tachyon shield collapses. And the TARDIS is still there. You did it. But how? A very, very old memory. Back on Trenzalore, the 7th and 11th Doctors suddenly look at each other and smile. The companions ask what has happened, but before they get an answer, both Doctors stand next to the time stream. "Contact! Contact!" The two Doctors light up and glow as they send a message across time and space and dimension coordinates. As they start to come back to normal, a familiar sound is heard. "The TARDIS!" shouts Ace. "But that cannot be." "Oh, but it can." In front of them all, 7 TARDISes start to fade into view. All of them different shapes and colours, but all the TARDIS. As the boxes form and solidify, the Doctors exit their respective machines, followed by their companions. "Finally," the 7th Doctor said, "it worked." "Yes, it seemingly did. Whatever you two did, well done," congratulated the 6th Doctor. "Well, we can't take all of the credit." "No, I don't suppose we can. But we can." The 9th Doctor comes bundling in and explains the whole tachyon shield solution. "A tachyon shield," the 4th Doctor says. "Of course." "But wouldn't that be incredibly dangerous?" Romana asked. "More than you realise, may I say," Captain Jack Harkness, what a pleasure to meet you. Stop it! It's very nice to meet you too, Jack. I'm sure it is. The 9th, 10th and 11th Doctors all roll their eyes. Jack looks innocently at them. Well, if we're quite done with introductions, I believe it's about time we find out why we are all here. You said it. Why are we all here? Let me clue you in. The Doctors all contact and start transferring thoughts and memories as they do. The companions watch in awe and shock. Are they okay? Perry asks. Perfectly fine. It's a fast Time Lord method of transferring data at a quicker pace than speech, Romana said. Ace! I do hope they're okay, Jo Grant said, with a slightly worried look on her face. The Doctors, finally, are all caught up. Oh dear, dear. Yes, it does seem like a rather large mess we've gotten ourselves into. I do so hate prophecies. Forgot about that one. Anyway, how do we solve this? How do we fix it? We close the tear, the 11th Doctor said. So, we use the same solution that 9 did. Yes, well, that won't work, the 5th Doctor said. You see, from what you've told us, this tear is stronger and far more resilient. I don't think even a combined TARDIS attack would destroy that tear. We need to remove it completely. Yes, but how do we accomplish that? We're stuck down here, and that's stuck up there. With more wraiths coming through, we may soon need help. The Time Lords? Romana asked. Yes, it might be our only hope, the 6th Doctor said reluctantly. Except we can't risk it. Far too dangerous. The Time Lords don't exist here. If they call for a large fleet, their presence will only strengthen the tear, not weaken it. Then we must find a way of draining its energy before we can actually close it. We could set up a tachyon generator, use it to start sucking the power out slowly. No, it would take too long. The tear looks ready to burst. I would suggest reversing the polarity. No. Reversing the polarity of the neutron flow may be exactly what opens the portal. We are dealing with fire. The companions ask how the other portals closed. The Doctors explain that the tears outside of this region of space are weaker and have to be connected to stay open. Breach one, breach them all. But this is linked directly to the time stream, making it near impossible to close. Then, the 6th Doctor said, throwing his arms up in defeat, we're running out of time and ideas. You would think 9 of us would have come up with something. You would most definitely think so, came a voice from the distance. The Doctors all turn and come face to face with a great intelligence. Great balls of fire! Oh dear. Well then, this can't be good. This just became a whole lot more interesting. If things couldn't get any worse. Brilliant! Flippin' brilliant! You. Jack asks who the great intelligence is. The Doctors explain he is a force of will and energy, a creature that holds no concern for who it hurts. The great intelligence is still salty about all his other defeats. And now I can exact my revenge. I don't think so. You see, there are 9 of us and 1 of you, and a great tear ready to unleash dimensional beings of pure energy. Your kin? The 10th Doctor asks. Sort of. Why do this? What purpose does it hold? It will hold your ultimate and final defeat, destroying all the Doctors at once. Except, the 6th Doctor said in a mocking tone, you're missing 2, Already destroyed, the Great Intelligence says. That's not possible. No, but it is. You see, this is a plan I have held for many years, for many centuries, and now you, all of you, are the final nail in your own coffin. I beg your pardon. I created a situation so dire, so harmful, so desperate, that all of you would be needed to stop it. Oh no, you didn't. I brought you all here with your machines, and now you are the key to the lock, to the tear. You have destroyed yourselves. The Doctors stand in shock, unsure what to say or do. The companions look on, not sure how to help. The Doctor killed the Doctor, Clara said. Everyone turns to look at her. But my prophecy, the destiny. Your destiny. Your part was minor, my dear. You are nothing. Oi! She isn't nothing! Ace moves forward. Ace! The Seventh Doctor starts, but Ace shrugs him off. She's probably the bravest of all of us. Holding on to the hope, even when she believed she was the Doctor's great end. Lady McShane, the Fenric trap. At least you had a purpose. That was nothing more than a glorified pawn, and neither is she. Exactly. Look at me. I've beaten Daleks and Cybermen and Sontarans, and so has she. So if I'm nothing, and I'm stronger than ever, what does that make her? Whatever her own destiny, she is still nothing. Strength or not, she is useless. As are you. The Great Intelligence turns, facing the Doctors once again. Ace tries to continue, but he ignores her. You have all fallen into the trap several times over, and now it is all to the end. This is it. It isn't over, the Fifth Doctor said, pointing at him. Not yet. I beg to differ. Doctors, look up. The Doctors look up and exclaim in horror as the turret begins to open. At first, only a few wraiths exit, but then more and more and more start pouring out, flying around, attacking the Doctor and the TARDISes. The Doctors try and fight them off, but with little avail. They tell the companions to run. It's their only hope. As they start dashing out of the time stream room, Mike, Yates, Benton and Jack all fire off whatever weapons they have, attempting to keep the wraiths back, but it is futile. At this moment they have no interest in the companions, and are concentrating on the Doctor. As everybody exits, the Great Intelligence turns, looking at the Doctor's time stream. Standing in front of it, he puts his hands out and exclaims, It begins. Running quickly down the hill, the group finally come to a stop near the Seventh Doctor's TARDIS. It's been a while since we've run like that. Yes, it has, my dear, Fastra says, holding Jenny close. I can't believe it. There were hundreds of them. Still think we fought worse, eh, Mike? Look, at the giant TARDIS. The group looks to where Liv is pointing and watches the sky turns blue, and then red, as hundreds of wraiths appear and start feasting. The Doctor's cries can be heard in the distance. So what do we do now? Tegan asks, looking around. We enter the TARDIS and figure out a plan, Turlo says. Not running away this time. Not this time. Turlo seems resigned to his fate. Good on you, Turlo, Nissa said, patting him on the shoulder. As Turlo smiles, Perry looks around the group. But how are we supposed to fight the wraiths? We're just companions. With good old-fashioned elbow grease and a hell of a loud voice, Donna exclaimed, rearing for a fight. That might not be enough, Romana said, the voice of reason. We are, after all, just a small group. But a determined one. We are warriors of the Doctor. We are strong and ready to fight. That's the spirit, Baldy, Ace said, slapping Strax on the back. For the love of God, we need an actual plan, Liv exclaimed. I have one. The group turn round, and behind them stands Leela, dressed in leather battle armour, her arm holding the crest of Andred's house. Or should I say, he has one. From the smoke steps a man in a longish leather jacket. His grey beard neatly trimmed and his outfit battered and scarred, he holds a weapon like no other. Who are you? Romana asks, standing in front of the group as a sort of protectorate. Who I am matters not. What I have planned, however. Romana notices the weapon. The DMAC gun. You can't be serious. Deadly serious. Now come on. We have a war to fight. Gobsmacked and taken aback, the companions cheer, ready to help their friends. Hold on. Who are you? Jack asks. Oh my. It's you, isn't it? Joe smiles at him.
Yes, Joe. It's me.
No bloody way!
Donna exclaims. Well, why wouldn't it be?
Doctor?
Doctor Who, Nissa. Doctor Who.
Back inside the time stream, the doctors have all collapsed. The Great Intelligence is standing, watching the race feed on the TARDIS.
And so it is finally all over.
Not quite, old boy. The fourth Doctor just about manages to sit himself up.
Still here?
Just about.
You soon shan't be. Enjoy this final moment, Doctor, for this is your end.
Yeah. Of your slightly handsome face. The Great Intelligence turns round and comes face to face with Jack's pistol. From behind him steps forward Mike Yates and Benton. No sudden movements, please. The Great Intelligence watches bemused.
Is this your plan? I am energy. Your guns contain bullets. I cannot die. We shall see! Strax rolls in, weapon in hand.
He points it close to the Great Intelligence's chest.
Activates its highest energy setting.
The rest of the companions enter, all of them lending a hand to their respective doctors. This is futile. You shall all be feasted on as well. Not quite yet, Romana said. Your plan to bring the TARDIS here was a mistake. They're too interested in them. Scowling, the Great Intelligence realizes she's right.
For now. But when they're done, so shall you be.
As the companions help the doctors up, they question them returning.
I thought we told you to go, the fifth Doctor said.
You know us. We never listen. As Nissa helps the Doctor up, he smiles. So it seems.
Well, I for one am glad you're all back. As am I.
As the doctors slowly stand, the companions give them assistance. The Great Intelligence stands patiently, his hands behind his back. After a couple of moments, he tilts his head to the side. Are you finished?
Oh no, not even close, smiles Jack.
From the side, Leela walks in, blaster in hand. The doctors exclaim, and the Ninth Doctor just stares at her, sadness in his eyes.
Leela!
Hello, Doctor.
It's good to see you, Savage.
One extra companion will make no difference.
What about one extra Doctor?
Everyone turns to see the War Doctor, DMAC gun in hand, standing at the edge of the stream. He seems rather cautious. He looks rather unsure about being in the presence of his other selves. The Great Intelligence growls angrily.
Impossible. I was promised!
Promised what? The Sixth Doctor asked with a raised eyebrow.
Never you mind.
How very rude.
All of this matters not. Wraiths! To me.
As the time race start floating towards them, the doctors are unsure what to do. Until
this ends now!
The War Doctor fires the DMAC gun and a bright light flashes.
The wraiths screech and writher.
Everyone covers their eyes. And when the light fades, the wraiths are gone.
What? What did you do?
The Great Intelligence cries.
I removed them from time itself.
The War Doctor says.
You did what?
There should have been another way.
There wasn't! These wraiths are vicious criminals. It's us or them. How dare you defy me? I shall have your head for this, the Great Intelligence exclaims. Shall we try that?
The War Doctor says. He points the DMAC gun at the Great Intelligence, which stops him in his tracks. He looks around. He sees the companions converging on him. The Doctor's moving towards him. So he does the only thing he knows to do. He starts moving towards the time stream. This isn't over. As he jumps inside of it, the War Doctor aims at the time stream.
What are you doing? The
exclaims the 10th Doctor. No! Says 11, but it's too late. As I said, the War Doctor exclaims. This ends now! The War Doctor fires and there is a massive explosion of light. Everybody cries out as the stream is removed from existence. Trenzlore is restored to its original state. Everybody gets up. The TARDIS is no longer there, replaced with a massive, green, lush, open field, with rolling hills in the background. What on earth did you do? The 4th Doctor exclaims. What I had to do, the War Doctor says, as he looks down at the DMAC gun. I removed the stream from existence. But why? The 10th Doctor asks. And how? Because it never was to exist. Paradox. A very, very unstable one. But Trenzlore is our final resting place. The War Doctor smiles. I beg to differ. We don't have a final resting place. And if we did, it would be home. The Doctors all start muttering amongst themselves. After a moment, they turn to the War Doctor. I'm curious, the 3rd Doctor asks. The Wraiths, and this so-called prophecy. The Wraiths were once enslaved by our people to create the moment. A weapon that used their natural feasting of time as a way of killing a whole world. Penance, if you will, for their crimes in their own universe. The Wraiths told me the prophecy in the hopes it would make me fall into a false sense of doubt, which it almost did. If I hadn't arrived, we'd have all been toast, the 4th Doctor finished. But hold on, how did you get here? A moment sent me. The Doctors look at each other confused. The moment foresaw their death, and then sent their saviour. The War Doctor waved his hands in front of them. No. They hoped I would be killed too, but Leela and Romana helped prepare me for this, with a little help from Narvin and Brexy as hell, and you have a mostly thought out and formulated plan. Of course. So no more Trenzlore, the 11th Doctor asks. No more. Well, I for one am rather relieved to hear that. As am I. Now come on, let's get out of here. I have a sudden need for a drink. Back on Earth, the Doctors return to the Eiffel Tower and explain to Kate Stewart that the TERS have now closed due to them never having existed. As Kate asks for further explanation, Malcolm attempts to explain it, with Kate eventually waving him off. She then suggests a celebration of sorts. After all, the universe has once again been saved. The 6th Doctor quips that if they had a party every time they saved the universe, they'd never be at rest. The whole group heads to the London Museum, the whole facility having been closed off for a unit party. During the beginning of the party, Captain Jack straightens his shirt and goes to talk to some of the classic companions. Before he can, Ten grabs his shoulder. Let's not do this today, Jack. What? I was just gonna go and say hello. Your funeral then. Confused, Jack goes off to talk to Tegan, Nyssa, and Romana, who are all discussing their adventures with the 4th Doctor. Hello, ladies. Doctor. Ah, yes, Captain. I shall be back in a moment, Romana. I just need to see my next incarnation. The 4th Doctor walks away with a smirk on his face. Reaching his 5th self, the two laugh as Jack's lines get rejected again and again. As the companions and the Doctor start going off and talking, the 9th Doctor stands at the edge of the room, watching the party. He smiles slightly before heading back into another room. He's followed by Leela and the War Doctor. So, you've just left the war. I have indeed. I have a renewed sense of hope, but I feel like you've lost it. Shouldn't say much, but some events in your future make you question if the whole war was actually worth it. War is never worth anything. It's merely a evil necessity. Don't feel too bad about the events that unfolded. You fought like a warrior to defend your race. Thank you, Savage. The Doctor hugs Leela, and after a few moments, lets her go, and then shakes hands with his war self. Right, well, I'd better find Jack. He's probably hitting on Romana again. As the 9th Doctor leaves, the War Doctor smiles after him. What now, Doctor?
What now? What now? Who knows? Back to our own time. We have some rather important mercy missions to run.
Saving worlds again, then, Doctor?
Aren't I always, Savage?
The War Doctor and Leela stand watching the party. Eventually, they just fade away. Back in the party, the events have calmed down. The 11th Doctor stands with his third incarnation and questions about their first two selves. They manage to determine that their first incarnation used the same technique as the 9th Doctor used, only he did not fly to Trenzalore as he knew it was a trap. The 2nd Doctor was already stuck in a trap, in the land of fiction. So much for the great intelligence actually destroying our first two incarnations, Better luck next time, eh? The 3rd Doctor smiles and goes off towards Joe to continue the conversation. The 11th Doctor heads towards Clara, who is watching the night sky. So I'm nobody, Clara says softly. You're definitely not nobody. For him. I can safely say you're not him. Very funny, Doctor. Clara, you were never born to be anything other than yourself. Other people have large destinies. Others have the choice of their own. You are one of those lucky few. Maybe. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. To the future? To the future. Now come on. Night is young and the party still goes on. The 11th Doctor and Clara re-enter the room and continue their celebration with the other Doctors and companions. The celebrations continue until all Doctors and companions are shaking hands and hugging and saying their goodbyes. Well, the 3rd Doctor said, rubbing his chin. I hope that this is never going to happen again. No offence, but this is quite ridiculous. I couldn't agree with you more, the 6th Doctor said, clamping his hands together. This sort of thing needs to stop happening. Well, maybe one day it will. What a boring future that may be. All the Doctors raise their glasses, saying hear, hear. Saying one final goodbye, the Doctors and their companions enter their respective TARDISes. Each one leaves until finally only the 11th Doctor remains with Clara and the Paternoster gang. I think it's time I got you lot back home. Lots to do, plenty to see. The Paternoster gang agree. As they enter the TARDIS, Kate moves towards the Doctor. Doctor, I just wanted to say thank you for once again saving everything we hold dear. Not at all, Kate. Did it for your father, and I'll do it for you too. He'd have loved this, you know. All the Doctors here. I think your father had quite enough with 5 Doctors, never mind 9. Goodbye, Lethbridge. Keep doing the good fight. Goodbye, Doctor. As 11 enters the TARDIS, Kate smiles after him, turning back to Malcolm and Osgood. Got to love that man, especially the suited one. I bet for you this is every birthday come at once, Osgood teased. Cheeky. What now, Kate? Now? Kate looked over to where the TARDISes were and smiled. Now we continue as the Doctor does. In the words of a very, very old friend of his. We KBO. KBO? Malcolm asked. Kate smiled. We keep buggering on, Malcolm. We keep buggering on.